This is Listen Up Long Island, podcast episode 8. We have the next generation of Long Island real estate, finances, mortgage, loan officer. And so we're here to talk about the current market, Long Island real estate, how that applies to the music community, and what are some ways that people can find homes and find their advantage as far as
of course, like buying a house, like what kind of finances you need going forward, where you're at with your credit. There's a lot of what ifs, and we're going to answer some of those questions today, especially with musicians, because I know it's a different way of making income. So you're probably wondering, how can I make income as a musician and apply for a house? So we're going to tackle that in this podcast as well.
All right.
Do we want to go around and introduce ourselves?
Of course.
No.
Let's get it now. Why don't we start with the start of the show?
You go. Yeah. You're the reason why we're here.
No, stop.
And Shay.
No. We're all part. We're all team. Okay, so my name is Christian, as you guys, some of you guys may know. I'm a real estate agent, so I've been doing this for 3 years. I work with buyers, I work with sellers. This is part of what I do. So that's pretty much. I work Suffolk, Nassau counties. I don't really do much of the city, but we do have guys here who do cover those areas as well, which they'll get into it. So that's pretty much my.
And what company are you with, Christian?
So I'm with eXp Realty, the North Star team.
All right.
Joe, I love you.
Hi guys, my name is Joe Lee. I'm also a real estate professional, mainly in the title insurance space. So I will definitely be getting more detailed with that as we go, because not many people are aware of what title insurance is, which is actually one of the most integral part of the deal itself. So so I'm happy to be here. Thank you, Shay, for inviting me, and
Thank you.
obviously Christian. So
Good stuff.
all right.
I'm Christian as well. Christian with no H. I'm Christian Velasquez. I work for Nationwide Mortgage Bankers as a mortgage loan originator. So my job is to talk to you about finances. So anything related to securing a loan, what it takes to get financing, that's basically what my job is.
Cool.
All right, great.
So I'm a musician, right? I make $100, give or take, a night performing. I split that between 5 bandmates, so we make about $20 each.
It's a lot of money.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Times that by maybe 8 gigs a month.
Yeah.
So give or take, I'm making about like 160
a month.
A month. Good at math.
Yeah,
that's right.
That's right.
Rightfully so.
My brain's already going.
Yeah, that's nice.
So on that income, how can I afford a home on Long Island?
You can't.
No, right?
Yeah.
You're
You're gonna need a couple gigs and a couple of streams of income.
Yeah,
But that can definitely help out.
maybe
Cool.
like 20 gigs in one day or something like that.
Got to double up.
So that's very interesting. Listen Up Long Island is about making music a sustainable career on Long Island. So that parlays into the business aspect of music. And so we always tell musicians to treat your music like a business, whether you're writing and recording music for others or, ghostwriting or recording for others in a studio,
Streaming,
engineering, streaming,
Right.
making money as a YouTuber. There's many ways, but the whole thing is that without a place to live, how can they support, everything else that goes along with that?
Yeah.
So what do you guys see as like the advantages in the Long Island real estate market that could maybe potentially be a way in for maybe a first-time home buyer or maybe someone who's just like looking to break in? What's the easiest thing?
I think you brought up a good point, right? Like, gigs can't be the only thing you rely on. You can look for other streams of income. And then it comes down to like how you're reporting the income. Like if we want to go really deep into it, right? How that income's being reported, what type of business you have, right? If you're LLC, with
Who you're buying it with too.
self-employed,
By
right?
yourself, or somebody can co-sign it, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
But yeah, I definitely think that getting different streams of income from more than just gigs,
Yeah,
that's going to
because-
be what's going to help you make more income. And then it's about how we structure that income, because that's what I'm going to look over at the end of the day.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah, no, for sure. 100%. I mean, listen, you're listening to the finance guy, so he knows best. When it comes to buying a house, obviously, once he checks that all out, buying a house is pretty straightforward. Once you work with an agent, as a musician, whoever you are, if you're a buyer, you're going to be working with a real estate agent. You should, because if you're not being represented. A lot of people don't know this, but if you're going to buy a house and you don't have an agent, what happens is there's a listing agent who's at the house. If you go to an open house, there's an agent greeting you at the door. They're the listing agent, and they're not representing you, they're representing the seller. So why is that important to know? Because they're going to try to get the seller the highest and best for the house. And what that means for you is they're going to try to squeeze as most money possible out of you. So what happens is you have nobody representing you, and to solve that issue, you get a buyer's agent, like someone like myself or a real estate agent out there who represents buyers. So that way they can negotiate on your behalf, get you the most amount of money. And listen, not just negotiating, there's so many factors into saving money that a lot of people don't know about, that if you work with a buyer's agent, you start learning those tips and tricks on how to actually save that money. So that's something important to know when it comes to the real estate side.
Wow.
Yeah.
Very interesting stuff.
Yeah, you got to be represented.
How about you, sir?
Yeah.
I mean, if we're just talking straight numbers, I agree with Christian. You definitely need multiple streams of income. With the figures that you gave us to afford a house in Long Island, it's just not going to happen.
Exaggerating a little
Yeah,
bit.
I know, but
Musicians.
Right.
This is why
Right.
our whole thing is that music venues and the music industry needs to put more support into the
Right.
arts so that this industry can thrive. And if even on a few thousand a month,
Right.
you can afford a
So,
home, right?
but the
Yeah,
good news
100%.
is, what I was gonna get to is that even with like a 1099 or just like part-time gigs and things like that, you can still buy a house. So that is still possible. So I think we're gonna dive into that more with Christian, the finance guy. So
Well, I think you bring up like that. That's one thing that I've been seeing very common is just being realistic with the expectations, right? Couple $1,000s a month could definitely get you somewhere. It may not get you that mansion that you want right away,
Right.
but hey, maybe you can start with a cheaper price condo, a cheaper price co-op, right?
Right.
Because now you have something. And I think the goal at the end of the day with real estate is to have something now as opposed to having something in 6 months, in a year.
Exactly.
So again, figuring out how much money you have, then speaking to somebody like me where we can figure out how much we can use of that to qualify you, and then seeing what you can buy from there.
Right.
Right? You may not be able to afford all of it just with the musician salary, right? I know some people, they have other jobs on top of that, but hey, maybe that musician piece of it is what's helping you save the money for the down payment, or that's the extra income that you need to qualify to buy that.
What do you
first
think about
house.
creating an LLC? Like, how important would that be? Like, if you're a musician, I would imagine you want to create an LLC because it's your own business, right?
Yeah.
Is that where the whole 1099 thing comes in, and creating an LLC, or that's something different?
So those are two different things, but essentially you're both a business owner in with both senses, right?
Right.
As a 1099, you're like a subcontractor. You're working for somebody, and then they're paying you directly the amount that they're paying you. They're not deducting taxes, and then you're going to your accountant. You're deducting income from there, right? Deducting expenses, things like that. And then with an LLC, of course, you're the business owner. You're the one that's in control.
Right.
So then you're seeing how much you're making and then doing the same sort of deductions from there. So they're both pretty similar in a sense. At the end of the day, we're going to look at what's reported as your taxable income. And if there's things like depreciation, we can add those things back. So there's a couple of things that can help you kind of boost your income a little bit more.
Right. What about like certain programs that can help like first time home buyers or people with like limited income, just like like musicians that have like limited income?
Yeah, of course.
Are there any like programs that that can?
I would say there's a couple of programs that have down payment assistance, right? So if you're somebody who, let's say you have the income needed, but you don't have enough of a down payment, we can work with Sony May, which works across all the state of New York.
It's a great loan.
You can get up to $15,000 in assistance. Yeah.
Shout out to Sony May.
Shout out to Sony May.
Gonna hit you up soon.
Can we drop like the Funkmaster Flex bomb at the Sony May?
You can do a little drum roll. I mean,
yeah.
Getting sponsored by Sony.
Eventually.
Look, and you can combine the programs, right? In Long Island, or specifically Suffolk County, there's LIHP, Shout out to LIHP. So with that one, you can get up to $30,000 to $40,000 as well,
wow.
and you can combine the programs.
What was that program again? I haven't heard of that one.
LIHP.
LIHP. Okay.
Yeah.
Sony May and LIHP.
Yeah.
Sitting in a tree, making me money.
Sitting in a tree. Yes.
Making me money. Well, no, seriously, that's a really good program.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
I've
really
had
good
a client
information.
before that used Sony May. They saved like about $15,000
Wow.
Yeah.
in their closing costs. Not many people know about these programs because not every bank offers them, right? So you got to make
Right.
sure you're talking to a bank.
Right.
Something
Yeah.
like Christian's Bank. They Nationwide Mortgage Bank.
Shout out Nationwide. Not on your side, different company.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Not those guys.
Not those guys.
Cool guys are here.
Yeah, so not every bank offers it, so that's why it's important you guys take a look and see which banks offer like his bank and take advantage of that, especially as a first time home buyer. So,
Yeah, a lot of people don't think about that, And then as far as like with not having enough income goes, what I see with a lot of people is they add other people on the loan to help them buy the property, right? Again, your income, it is what it is at the end of the day, right? One, you're only limited by how much you can work. But if you can find ways to, let's say, have somebody help out, aka a family member, a cousin, a parent, somebody like that can be on the loan with you, now you can make up for what you're, let's say, not reporting on your income or what's not enough on your income.
So if they're on the loan, they don't have to own the property, right? They could just be on the loan.
Exactly. Right. They can be on the loan and then they don't have to live there with you, right? And at the end of the day, you should know your budget though. Right. By the time you go to buy the house, right? You're not going to buy a $700,000 house just because you qualify with mom or dad's income, but you're the only one paying it, right? That's going to lead you into a bad situation. But if you can buy, let's say, that condo, that co-op that I was mentioning, or even the smaller house that's, nothing too crazy, and you can afford it, then you're putting yourself in a good position.
How much are co-ops and condos going around in Long Island?
Depends on what areas. Usually around 350, depending. Yeah, because there's condos literally everywhere you can find them. So it really depends on the market where you're going to search. I've seen some condos go anywhere from like 350, 200 to 250. They vary from a big range. But when you're getting those condos, those co-ops, those got to consider too. You got to apply for a board, so you got to see if the noise level. You got to, because if you're a drummer, you're going to be going to these condos. It's going to be wailing out. You're going to have some people complaining about noise. So when you're applying to those type of condos and co-ops, you want to make sure you check the board and like what kind of restrictions there are when you apply to. But those are good options because they're cheaper, and you don't have to spend a crazy amount of money. Another thing I was thinking about too is mixed use. Like, maybe what if a musician wants to live in the property and then use the other side of it for business, like having a studio or something like that.
Yeah.
How have you ever worked with people like that, or what are your thoughts about like doing?
Yeah, so I haven't worked with somebody like that specifically, but I think you bring up like a great opportunity that maybe a lot of people don't think about, right? Because you can buy a mixed use property with FHA conventional loan, and you can use the income that you can make from that studio to be part of your income when qualifying, right? Or let's say you find a house. Another thing that a lot of people are doing is like if you find a house, let's say with a basement, kind of like where we are right now, right? There's a separate entrance, there's a kitchen, you have a bathroom. You can use that as additional income to help you qualify.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
that's an thing, right?
That's called the ADU. So we have a specific program at our bank helping out with that.
So I have a question actually, because this actually brings a really good point. I had heard through the grapevine that it is potentially possible to actually, have a mixed-use property and write off like parts of the mortgage with your business expenses. Is that an actual thing that's possible, or is that something that's
interesting?
I'm not an accountant, so I can't answer that piece. There's a thin line between what I can say and what I can't say. So,
I would imagine it'd be
like even if it's off the record, I have no idea.
Just Google it.
Ask your accountant. Ask your accountant.
I'm not an accountant either, but that is something that I do because I have a recording studio.
Oh, yeah, right.
Live here and work here, so I do claim mixed use property.
So is it a percentage of how
it's
square footage or
square footage?
Square footage, right?
Like how much of it is part for your
makes
home,
sense.
your
Smart.
That's interesting. How do you measure that?
So I did
Where are you dragging it all around?
the entire property?
Okay, so right now here I'm in residential space. As I slide over here, I'm in commercial space.
Correct, with the drums.
as soon as you're off camera.
Yeah. Whatever the camera can reach.
But
that's
I actually work
commercial.
in the entire area, so even in the bedroom.
Oh shit!
Even on the lawn.
There you go. That's funny. Another thing that I was actually thinking about was, there's strength in numbers, right? So let's say you and your band, or you and a couple buddies, you guys are pretty close, like close enough to the point where you feel comfortable talking about finances and stuff like that. Why couldn't you buy the house together? You know what I'm saying? Now you have a house, and now you maybe have a basement where who cares about the noise because everybody's in the same industry, so it doesn't matter if you're being too loud because they'll understand that. You know, DJ, drummer, whatever it is, right? You can do something like that.
No, absolutely.
Because with loans, you can have up to 4 people in the loan together.
Is that the maximum you can have on a loan?
4 is maximum.
I actually didn't know that. Well,
I didn't know that either.
Yeah.
I think you put like 20 or 50 people on it.
I don't know about 20.
Then maybe you can buy the mansion.
That's the content house right there.
Yeah.
That's actually a great idea.
I know.
Just this idea.
Just think about that.
Yeah, absolutely. That is the goal. You know, as far as like, you know, what are people doing with commercial warehouses or commercial spaces now that people are working from home? So, you know, all these commercial properties are vacant, and, you know, we just need musicians and artists to take it over and, you know, be able to fund our own visions and things like that. So
there's definitely a good amount of inventory for commercial. It's not as much as pandemic, which was insane, you know, for obvious reasons, just because the market was just like
a lot of those got filled recently, right? Like
there's something to get filled
the past year.
But I think now is a good time also to capitalize on it. You know, I don't know how the commercial loans are doing right now as far as, you know, in that area.
I don't work in that area enough. I do read on it a little bit. I know it is tough.
Yeah, I'm seeing
just
inventory
because of the way that the interest rates are and you know, occupancy, vacancy.
Does Nationwide
all those
offer
things.
commercial loans though?
We do have a commercial division. Yeah. With commercial loans, it's all based off of the potential income that the property can produce.
Right.
So, you know, if you're going to buy a commercial building and you want to buy it, let's say for like music, one of the things that they look for, aside from having the down payment, which can be 20%, it could be 25%, it could be as low as 10% with the SBA loan. You know, they want a good resume, right? If maybe you were running a commercial, maybe you were running a music studio at some point and you can prove that you did that for a while, were successful. Maybe you're buying an existing music studio that's just, let's say they're not doing as well, whatever, you can take over that way you show that there's a market there, right? So you have to really come with a plan when you want to buy a commercial space. It's not maybe as much as like with a house, but you know, with everything there's going to be a plan.
I think
you have to show.
You can also even, if there's like already, let's say you're buying like a commercial space with like 4 units and 3 of those units are filled with like tenants, that also counts as income, right?
Oh, 100%.
The rent that they're giving you.
Absolutely, yeah. If you have like two, like you said, like 2 apartments on the top and like the commercial, exactly.
So that actually helps too.
You can definitely do something like that. Well, at that point, it might be just mixed use at that point, right? So you have to look at the square footage. It's always, it's like 51-49. So 51 residential, 49 commercial. If it's less than that, then it's considered commercial at that point.
Gotcha.
That's interesting. I didn't know that either.
Yeah. I think there's definitely a lot, like you said, I like the way that you think, right? Because you think like you said, you have that business background. You have the music, so you try and like match the 2 of them together.
Well, it's always been a dream of mine. I mean, we're putting on a festival, and you know, space is a concern. You know, how much capacity can we fill? How many tickets can we sell to get them in the door?
Right.
And that is the bottom line. So square footage is, you know, is real estate.
Yeah,
occupancy.
You know, how many people fit in?
How many can you fit in? You know, and what you could do with the space. So
that's true.
You know, one of the goals we'd like to prove is like, you know, how much we can make out of one space or one event, things like that. And that's why we looked for sponsors and vendors for our event, and we are so grateful that you guys have sponsored the event, not only because you believe in the vision of having musicians and supporting a sustainable community for musicians and artists.
100%.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But you guys are thriving in this real estate market, and you're doing your job to educate on, you know, people who are living that artist life and they don't know how to, you know, make their way to get their own property. So it's
100%.
awesome that you're working in the industry and helping others. So I guess we could talk about what's going on in the current market on Long Island.
Right. So, I mean, the general market right now, in terms of like what's going on with the real estate market, not just in Long Island, is we're seeing there's limited inventory right now, and there's a good amount of buyers. So what we're seeing is that even though that interest rates are going up and people thought that prices would go down, prices are actually going up. And normally when interest rates go down, prices go up, but that's not what's happening. It's like interest rates are slowly going up as well as prices going up. So there's like a battle, there's like a bidding battle with all these buyers that are trying to get these homes with limited inventory. So I'm sure, Christian, you see this all the time, right?
Yeah,
like
no, of course. In other words, it's called bidding war. Same
Right.
big battle, but a
Right.
war. It really is a battle. I see some of these buyers, they go at it.
Yeah, it gets serious.
Yeah, those open houses, man. Okay, so yes, inventory is low. Like you said, interest rates been going
Right.
up again.
Right.
So it's in a little awkward spot where it's like, should you wait to buy a house? Should you buy it
Right.
now?
Right.
If you can capitalize, you have the finances to do it, I say go for it. It's always nice having that asset, owning your own property. But anyway, when it comes to the whole bidding war situation, this is where, before I mentioned, it's good to have a buyer's agent with you because you want to figure out how you can capitalize and get the house if
Right.
you're in a bidding war situation. This is where the buyer's agent will educate you on all the negotiating and how we can best, figure out a way to get the right price for the property. The demand's low everywhere. I mean, I'm telling you, like Nassau, Suffolk counties. I work a lot in Suffolk counties, like the middle parts of Long Island, like Brentwood,
Right.
Bayshore areas. I'm seeing a very hot market there and very
Oh,
low
yeah?
inventory. Yeah, I just sold this house for like $425. Some of you buyers may know this
I
property.
mean, those houses are beautiful. I mean, for the price,
They're nice.
you're
They're
getting,
nice.
and-
Yeah. So check this out. This was a ranch house for $425. And literally a week later, it went up to $470. It actually went
wow.
up. It did a price jump up.
Wow.
And they hadn't accepted offer, but the reason why they're doing that is because they want to get more buyers to bid more for the property. But it's just telling you from $425 to $470.
Wow.
That's kind of like the bidding war situation. That's
Yeah.
what it's leading to. It's leading to like at least 40,000 over ask.
Are you also seeing just straight up people over asking on the price? Just
for the most part, yeah.
For the
Unfortunately,
most part,
that's
what
what
you're
we're seeing a lot of it.
Wow.
Just to get rid of the competition.
Just
Like,
get rid of
might
the-
as well
yeah,
just-
yeah,
might as well just
Just
offer
throw another
20 over,
100,000
30
and we're
over.
good to go.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, and a lot of people are asking, am I really getting the right value for the house? But you also have to always consider through time, if you're going to own the property for a long time, meaning more than like 6 years at least, you're going to get that value
gonna see that
back.
appreciation.
You're going to see
Yeah, you're gonna
appreciation
see
value. So
appreciation,
that's another
for
thing
sure.
to consider when you're paying over ask.
Yeah.
I always say, don't always get too scared if you feel the house is worth it and you're going to be living there for a long time. So obviously we'll run the numbers before doing anything crazy like that, but
Yeah, I mean,
it may be well worth it.
And
Even if you did, sorry to cut you off.
yeah, go
I was
ahead.
going to say, even if you do the math, right? You buy a house at let's say 500,000, but the house was selling at 480.
Yeah.
So you spend $20,000 more than what the house was technically selling for,
Right.
But now in a year, which they say that even by the end of 2024, houses are going to go up by 5 or 6%.
Wow.
So if that $500,000 house that you paid for goes up by 5%, you just got $25,000 in equity.
Right.
Which means that the $20,000 you paid over asking, you just recoup that money plus an extra $5,000.
Right. Also, in the future, you can always just refinance, right? So, just date the rate, marry the house.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
absolutely.
how the saying
That's-
goes.
that's
So,
what we- yeah.
100%.
Take the rate, marry the house.
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can always get a better payment.
Yeah. There you
Exactly.
go.
So you were saying about making the most out of the property that you're living in order to, maximize the profitability.
Yeah.
So what are some things that people could do to maximize their wealth?
Yeah. So going back to a little bit what we were talking about before with musicians trying to buy their first property, things like that, right? Once you get to that point of where you've gotten your first house, or you have a house where, let's say, you have a basement that you can rent out, or you live in the basement, rent out the bigger part, right? Now you're creating what's called passive income. Because you're technically not doing much and that income is coming in, which can allow you to have more time to focus on your music career, where then you can use that time where you don't have to spend, let's say, working another job to then increase your earnings from the music career. So I think if you think about it and you kind of reverse engineer it, right? If you focus on kind of saving as much money as possible, getting that first house, so then that can create you income. Now you can focus then on your career,
Right.
on your music career, on getting more income from there.
Amen to that. Honestly, there's no shame if the first house is an investment house and you're still living with your parents, because you can use that money from that first house as like an investment. You're carrying that passive income. You can still do that music on the side and not have to stress over the money coming in every month, because you're making money from music, you're making money from the house. And then when you're ready to settle in, have a family, then you can actually think about getting the actual primary house where you're going to be living.
So
in.
I see a lot of people with their first house, if it is like a investment house like that, they actually take out like home equity line of credits, or like they refinance and take cash out, and then they use that money to buy another house.
Yeah.
and then rent that first house. So now you're getting rental income with that first house, paying your mortgage, and then now you have a new house and you're just paying your own mortgage.
Yeah,
there you go.
So
exactly.
That's
and especially like we were mentioning before, right? If you have a house where you're already getting rental income and you use the money from that house to buy a second home, and that house is also producing you income, you know, picture what an extra, I don't know, $1,000 at one place and then an extra $2,000 at another place. You know, that's $36,000 you're getting a year from just having to make sure that the tenants are happy, everything's you know safe and things like that. There will be work involved, but now you've just created, you know, money that's going to last you your whole life.
Right.
Yeah, yeah, it's going to last you your whole life. And then I think, you know, correct me if I'm wrong, but it's kind of like sales as well, you know, being in that position where you have to, the moment that you don't have to worry about your next paycheck, it allows you to be better at what you do.
Oh, 100%.
You know what I'm saying? So if as a musician, you've got that kind of safety net where you're getting passive income coming in, now that kind of clears your mind of stress. And now you've just become such a better musician because that's what your focus on is that
you can invest into your business too. So you get that extra money you could put into
100%.
Get your album out, you know, to get that extra money for streaming.
There's a lot of possibilities.
Create your own course or whatever you want to do as a musician, you have the extra money. So
there's a lot of options out there, guys. So that's basically what we're trying to tell you. You know, like just don't think, you know, just because you're in a certain situation. Just talk to your guys. You know, talk to your mortgage guy. Talk to your agent. You know, talk to your title guy. Talk to your.
In other words, talk to us.
Just talk to us. Yeah. So
you know,
we'll be at the event.
You touched on something that I actually didn't expect you were going to say something like that, but it's so important for, you know, artists or creatives to think about, and that is the stress that the financial stress which stunts creativity. Because when you're thinking about how I'm going to get my next paycheck, how are you going to write music? How are you going to be in that creative flow?
Yeah.
So it's really a disruption. But I was going to say that the best way a musician can make money is to sell all your instruments, sell your gear, and get into real estate.
that's
and then use that money to buy a property
and then
go back into music.
Go back into
cycle.
How long is the turnaround for that?
5 years.
A couple years.
You know. And it sucks because when you're in your 20s and your 30s, that's the time to be an artist, be a musician.
Yes. You have the energy.
You know?
You have the
but
drive.
Going into it when you already have houses and you're in 40s and 50s, and that's the funny thing about art and music is that the best art comes from people who are struggling. It doesn't come from people who have made it. You know, these people who are billionaires can't make good music anymore. When
you get complacent.
Well, they could buy it.
1,000%.
You can just buy it.
You can buy art.
You can pay a ghostwriter.
You can pay people. You could have teams. You could do all that. But you know that. You know, art comes from these struggles and the obstacles the hurdles and people resonate with that.
So Jay-Z not. No.
He's crushing it in real estate. I can guarantee you that.
Dude, like how many proproperties he owns, man? It's insane.
Probably, right?
So struggle in music first, make it, and then buy real estate.
Real estate is one of those things you have it, it's going to make more money for you in the future.
Yeah, it works for you.
That's why everyone buys it. Yeah.
Well, let me ask you guys this. I want to hear from all of you.
Yeah.
Maybe you didn't wake up when you were, you know, a young child and you said, I want to go into this real estate. Like, so what was your first dream? What was like something that, you know, and this is kind of off topic from maybe real estate, but like, what did you say you wanted to be when you, and maybe how it kind of came true anyway?
Okay. Anyone want to start? Yeah.
I said I wanted to be a soccer player. Okay. That was my dream. I wanted to be a professional soccer player.
Right.
I think what I realized later was that I really wanted it, but there wasn't enough action behind what I wanted. You know?
Right.
And I think that's how I apply it to like what I do now. It's like I know I really want it, but I know I have to really work for it this time around. So this has kind of been like my second chance at like working towards something that I really love.
Was it professional soccer, like working?
Yeah, I wanted to be on TV,
Like
be on a
legit,
team and stuff like that. That's all I thought of.
I actually had something similar. I wanted to be a professional swimmer, and it was when I believe it was the Beijing Olympics when I saw Michael Phelps swimming.
Whoa.
And that was when I knew, okay, I want to be like this guy. But then, reality hits. I realized, one, I'm Asian. Two, I'm not 6'3".
Yeah.
Sorry, the Asian part was a joke, but I'm not 6'3". I don't have an eagle's arm with
the wingspan.
Yeah, I don't have that. And even though I worked I was swimming almost every single day because I wanted to hit that goal. I realized there were some limitations, but I feel like in real estate I don't have those limitations. So I want to say, obviously I didn't think that I would ever be in this position, honestly, back then, but by not having these limitations, I feel like I could swim as far as I can in real estate.
Wow.
Oh, that's romantic.
Yeah.
Swimming the seas of
You
real
gotta write
estate.
that in a poem or something. I could turn that to a song.
There's a gold medal.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
And
Man is gold medal.
the funny thing with me, like my dream actually kind of
Don't
came
tell me it
true.
was to be a real estate
No, a rock
agent.
star too, I mean, I'm a real estate rock star. So, if some of you guys may know, me and Sharon are band. So, as a kid, I've always wanted to be a musician, grow up and play like in shows in front of people and just have a lot of fun. I never saw it as a career, but I just saw it as something I wanted to do. So that actually transitioned later to time, just constantly learning new things in music, aside from the whole business and going to school, which was great. But I also wanted to be a musician. So, through time, just meeting musicians like Shay, a lot of people out there who play music, I jammed out with other bands, and that's helped me grow as a musician. And I really I achieved my dream to some extent, at least being in a band, with Shay. It's to me, it's a big deal, us playing together because we're in a pretty legitimate band, We're getting ourselves out there.
Well, I mean, the cool thing is that we go out to, play our shows, and then after the show, we're talking with the people, and a lot of times they're like, oh, do you do this full time? And you say, hey, I also do real estate, by the way.
Right.
And then you end up exchanging information. Next thing you
100%.
know, they end up buying a house.
Yeah, it's just not a coincidence, I'm
being
helping people,
and they're like, oh, he's not just a real estate agent. He's not just this and that.
Right.
But you're also a musician, and they believe in you, and they help fund your music career through your other attributes.
Yeah.
So,
I agree.
I'm always there performing. If it's
That's where your
if not
personal
music,
brand
I'm
comes
performing
in.
as an agent,
Yeah.
doing the best I can for my clients, that's what it's about. Entertainer.
Do you play the drums at the closings?
Oh, how'd you know? If things go bad, just do a drum. That's actually a good idea. I'm gonna play drum set in every
We
closing
should
room.
do a drum roll while somebody brings over the key, and then you hand them the keys.
Just have
And
to
that's
crash really hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good idea. Yeah. Coming soon.
Yeah, we'll do it at our closing.
Yeah.
I got you.
We'll plan it out.
We'll talk about EXP because I see your team,
North Star,
North Star team. You have Joe Sonona, who's just like a mentor and a beacon of the real estate world.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
You guys travel and do expos and connect with people all over the country. I'm speaking for you, but
No, I appreciate that. I don't have to say anything else.
You guys are already a rock star band,
Right.
Real estate team. So what sets you apart from other companies?
So here's the thing: there's a lot of great companies. I'm not going to tell you EXP is the best company. Personally, I think it is. Yeah. So before I joined EXP, I did interview a lot of different brokerages. EXP just had the model I was looking for. There's a lot of different avenues of making income, revenue, right? Revenue share. You got stocks. You can sponsor agents into the company, and then that you earn that way through revenue share. But EXP, I just felt like gave me an opportunity to retire in a company, right? Because I'm also looking long term. I'm not just looking short term. So since EXP provided that opportunity for me, I decided to join EXP. Now, when it comes to North Star, that's a different branch into EXP. I found Joe by actually just looking at different agents throughout Long Island. He had his own team, so I decided to work with him. And he actually is my mentor. He's been my mentor for the last 3 years. Joe, I love you. You're great. He does a lot for the real estate community, honestly. He's a good guy. So that's what got me into EXP. It was like the chemistry, just the whole revenue share. I can see the retirement, and they also have healthcare plans for agents too. By the way, that's another thing some people didn't know.
Oh wow.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, it's great. Not every
Do other companies not offer?
no, not every company offers this. So some do, but EXP is known for that as well.
Yeah.
They have good plans for agents out there.
Nice. Yeah, that's nice.
Wow. Yeah, so I see EXP everywhere. I see signs everywhere. every house
Yeah.
for sale. I see EXP. you know,
yeah.
So
We're growing.
I
We have
mean-
like 90,000 agents right
Oh,
now.
wow.
Yeah.
it's insane. Oh, wow.
Yeah, and just like a matter of like 10 years or so. we've
So
been
can
growing.
can you talk about how was Vegas? You went to Expo.
The good parts?
The good parts.
PG,
PG,
please.
I remember it's
Stays in-
PG,
what happens in
PG.
Vegas stays in Vegas.
So, okay, last year we did go to, it's called EXP Con, which is a conference event for all EXP agents around, not just the United States, but around the whole world because we're international.
Oh, wow.
We're not just United
wow.
States. You know, we had people from China, from Dubai.
Oh, really?
Yeah, all different countries. It was a lot of fun. You know, you get to meet other agents, you bond, you have this communication, get referrals from other agents by communicating with them, talking about what states you work in, so seeing how you can refer them other people in business. There's that, and there's also the education part of it. We see a lot of top producers giving classes. They're giving also keynote events with other people who are not just agents, but you know, they're like motivational speakers. Like Grant Cardone was, I believe, last year.
Really?
Or was the year, might have been the year before. Yeah, his wife is actually, she's actually an
Paid him
agent
fortune
in
to get
EXP
him
now.
there.
Yeah.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, seriously, yeah.
Wow.
They sponsor EXP. They're part of the company.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And
so-
Grant Cardone is,
He's a
I'm
big
not sure
real
if
estate
everyone
guy,
knows who he is, but he's a very big real estate guy.
Of course. Yeah.
So,
he's
and he,
everywhere.
he's everywhere.
He's also a media mogul. So
Yeah.
he's, you know,
Yeah,
real
yeah.
estate
If you don't know him through
media.
real estate, you know him through media.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, there's a couple of celebrity real estate agents,
Mm-hmm.
but besides you,
Yeah, you know, that's right. Soon to be. But that's actually brings another point because, like, even if you're not a real estate agent and you're thinking about getting a real estate license, it's always nice to have a license because you can become a referral partner. Not a lot of people know this, right? And then you become a referral partner. You don't want to work as an agent full time. You can refer business to other agents and get that cut from working with other agents. So, you know, that's the
good
beauty.
to know.
You know, that's why some of these celebrities, you see them, they get their license because they want to become referral partners. They want to just send business to other agents where they can make money on the side.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's
And these
Another
celebrities are,
form of
yeah.
passive income
It's a
for
niche.
musicians.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. But there you go. Yeah.
Looks like I got to study, guys.
Get those books going. Yeah.
actually, a little bit about me. I actually did go into real estate for a year, and it wasn't for me. I hated
Not for
it.
everyone.
I hated it.
Yeah.
I did the whole course, and I loved the aspect. I loved learning about it, and it's good for the knowledge for when I get my own house. But I found it very cutthroat and very, you know, you're on the road showing houses,
Sure.
and I would show houses and houses and houses, and, you know, buyers, they don't know what they want. Maybe that's my fault, but they don't know what they want, and so you need a good agent, you know.
That's
so maybe
key.
I wasn't the best agent.
Having the right mentor. That's why I joined North Star, you know?
Yeah.
Just such a great mentor with Joe. Like, that makes the biggest difference, honestly.
Yeah.
I almost thought about leaving real estate too in the very beginning just because I didn't have the right teacher
Right.
helping me.
You don't have the
with it.
network, you're discouraged, you thought it was going to be something so grand. You watched, like, what
I've
is it,
seen
Selling
some shady
Sunset?
stuff too. But it's
So,
just-
yeah, shady stuff happening all the time in real estate, and you get discouraged when you're a new agent. So I don't blame you. I see it like when I see like new real estate agents, I always see it like a race, like a marathon race, right? It's like everyone's starting off fresh at the starting line. They're running, and then within the first year, like half of them are gone, and then they're running, and then another year, half of them are gone, and then by the end, you'll have people like Christian. You know, so it just takes time. You know, it just takes time. So
Year 3
trust me,
already.
you're not the
rate's
only
really
one.
high though.
It is
he has
very
good
high.
time.
Yeah,
it was like
it's
it was
very high.
85 to like 90%
Yeah,
within the
something
last
like
2
that.
years.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, especially after
insane.
post-COVID, like it's
Right.
just
Right.
even loan officers are just dropping out.
Yeah,
quickly.
with interest rates, a lot of the loan officers got
100%.
Well,
priced out of the market, you know?
also heard that, like, on Long Island, the majority of houses sold are by the, like, few minority of
Yeah.
real estate
Yeah.
agents out
Yep.
there. So
Yeah.
That is true.
The 80-20 rule applies everywhere.
Yep.
Like, literally in any business.
Yep.
any business, right?
It's like a
Because
pipeline, man.
Yeah,
yeah,
it really is.
because, like, what would be the benefit for someone going with someone who has no experience? You know,
It's tough.
and,
It's tough. Yeah.
You know, you by experience you gain that negotiating power. You gain
True.
like
Yeah.
Having the right mentor makes a
it's
difference.
a
though.
psychological game too,
Right.
You know, between, you know, are they bluffing? Do they actually, you know,
Right.
have a higher bidder? Do they
Right.
have like?
Know how to ask the right questions to make sure you're getting the right answers from the seller or whatever, from the listing agent in this case. That's why if you're starting out as a new agent, it's important that you have a right mentor with you. Get the right training starting right off the bat, because if you don't get the right training, you're just wasting time.
Yep.
You know, and that drags out, and that's why people quit, and that's why you have that big dropout. So, as Shay says, I know it's tough starting out as a new agent, but it's not impossible. Like I started as a new agent, right? But I was able to get it done because I did the right things I had to do to get myself into the business by getting the right training.
And you never gave up.
Never
You
gave up. Yeah,
You
be
just
persistent,
kept going.
consistent.
Persistent and
Yeah,
consistent, exactly.
yeah, for sure.
What about your company? What
Right. Oh, I forgot to introduce earlier, but I am with Liberty Land Abstract, the number one title company in New York City. And
In the world.
In the world.
In the
No,
world.
in the- no, but
universe.
yeah. So
Shout out to Liberty. Let's go.
So I got into my company through a referral through the owner's brother, actually. So before that, I was actually in banking. And I was managing their corporate account. So I got to know the owners, pretty well over the course of 3-4 years. So with that relationship, COVID happened, and I was looking to do something else. And real estate was a very hot market back then, maybe a year or two after COVID, where everybody, 2022, I believe, where everybody was 2021 into 2022, everybody was buying a house, So, and that opened the doors for me, and I've been with the company about 3 years now, since then. So I'm very happy. The owners are great. Shout out to Carl Lynn and Lester Lynn. They run an amazing company. So
We love you.
and I get to work with these amazing people. So it's great.
So, what are the advantage of working with Liberty through Liberty Land Abstract, and what is title insurance anyway? Maybe explain
Okay.
it
Yeah.
to
So
people
I'll
who
just
don't know.
I'll quickly go over what title insurance is. I know when people hear the word insurance, they think it's it's kind of a turnoff. It's boring, whatnot. But
Expensive.
it's expensive. But this is something actually every home buyer, especially if they're getting.
My bad. Sorry.
And every home buyer, especially if they're getting a mortgage, the banks actually require you to actually purchase title insurance. So, and what title insurance does is that our company, we just make sure that all the liens and violations that's tied to the company to the property it's free and clear of those liens and properties before the buyer can make the purchase, or anything that between the start of the transaction and towards the end of the transaction, if anything is misrepresented, they are insured by our company. So, for example, if the sellers are actually fraudsters and they actually don't own the property and sold it to you, you're actually covered by our company, and we'll get you your deposit back or your payment back when you bought the house.
Oh, wow.
So, and it's unlikely, but it does happen. It does happen, and it happens a lot with family members. Actually, it's not even strangers. It's let's say there's 3 family members, and one person is trying to kick out the other 2. They try selling it and try forging documents and right.
Have you
So
seen
it
that
does
happen?
happen. We have seen it happen maybe one time, but it is rare, but it can happen. That's the thing. So, and that's why it is required by banks, because they don't want to buy title insurance. Right, exactly.
Yeah.
So, and one of the advantages I want to say of working with a company like Liberty, the reason why I chose them over any other title company is because we just have the resources and to just make the deal, the transaction very smooth.
You guys have a big team, too.
We have a pretty big team. We have over 50 employees in the office. Most title companies can run off 5 to 10. So, and we have about 5 to 6 in-house counsels. So they have a wide range of information that whenever one attorney can't figure out what's going on, we can ask the other 5. And they have wealth of knowledge whether it comes to just regular transactions, residential, commercial, or even foreclosures or short sales, things like that. Any complicated transactions, we have the team to get it done. So,
what would you say to people who think that title insurance is not necessary?
So it's actually not required in some states, but in New York City it is required. So stop being cheap. No, I'm kidding. No, in New York City it is required, and it's something that all the banks require too. So you have to get it. So there's no option.
It's protecting you.
And it's protecting you. You got to get it. So
is it common for other people in other states to not get it? I didn't know that was even a thing.
So I believe in some states it is actually not required.
Yeah.
Well, I know,
but it's not. It's just not.
Yeah.
In Florida, you don't need a lawyer for the closing.
Yes.
Yeah.
In some states you don't need an attorney.
It's all
the broker.
Yeah.
Right.
So.
Yeah.
I mean, look, you're buying a $300,000 house in Florida. Why wouldn't you pay $2,000, $3,000 to protect it? To make sure you're buying what you're actually buying, right?
Yeah.
It's kind of like checking for its authenticity, right?
Yeah.
Just with fake luxury brands, right? It's you gotta make sure you're buying the real thing.
Right. Cover all your T's.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yep.
If you're spending that much money, what's an extra $1,000, right? $2,000, $3,000.
It's all right, wake up, guys. I know some of you guys fell asleep now.
You woke me up.
Nice. Who needs coffee, right?
Like, catch me flinching a little bit when you said that.
But no,
Someone's gonna drop their phone.
Yeah. Someone's
have
gonna be
a real
listening to
music
this in public, and say, if you're listening to this in public, I'm sorry that was really loud.
Yeah, no. We're not sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
So, what about your company nationwide?
Nationwide,
Yeah.
mortgage bankers.
Not on your side.
Yeah.
Say that 10 times fast.
We are. I'm always on the client side. But yeah, I started off doing reverse mortgages, which is a completely different kind of mortgage, completely different kind of market.
What is that exactly, so the viewers can
Okay, we'll go into reverse mortgages too.
Yeah, no, honestly, I was going to ask you the same thing because
so
I'm
definitely,
very iffy on
Well,
that.
it's been known to be predatory.
So
I don't even know what a reverse mortgage is.
yeah. So it's just when you get a mortgage in reverse, really.
Huh. So,
No, I'm just kidding. I was just
You're giving the bank.
So I'm giving the bank the paper for them to pay me.
100%. No, so a reverse mortgage is a loan intended for people who are about 62 years or older, right? And so basically what they're doing is if they already have a property, what you can do is you can get a loan between 30 to 50. At some point it was even 60% of so it's basically a refinance. You're getting about 30 you're getting about 30 to 50% of cash out from the property. And
if the property is fully paid off.
no. So I will go into that. Okay. So you're getting a cash out of about 30 to 50% of the property's value, right? And there's no requirement for repayment. So while you're living on the property, you technically don't have to pay the mortgage back, right? Now, you went into the question if it's free and clear, which basically means there's no mortgage, right? If, let's say, just to make numbers simple, you have a $100,000 house. This person at 80 years old is getting 50% of the value of their property back in a cash out refinance. And they owe $10,000 on the property still. They still have $10,000 in the mortgage. So you would get $50,000, but we would pay off the $10,000 first, and then you would get a cash out of about $40,000.
Oh, I see.
Of course, there's a lot more intricacies. There's a little rules here and there about the money that you get. But while you're living on the property, you technically do not have to make mortgage payments, but you do have to pay the taxes and you do have to pay the insurance, because obviously if you don't pay those, then technically you can go into foreclosure.
Wow.
From there, the reason it gets the reverse name is because it's reverse amortizing. So what that means is, as you're living on the property, as you're not making payments, the loan is accumulating interest.
Got it.
So there's interest getting charged on top of interest. That's called compound interest. So eventually, let's say you live there for 10 years, 15 years, instead of you owing, again, with the scenario I gave, instead of you owing $50,000, you may owe 60, you may owe 65. Okay. Will you owe $100,000? Probably not. Right. You know, I really, in 10 years,
depends on the rates, right?
You're probably not going to owe more than what the property's worth.
Is there a point where you have to pay that? I mean,
so there are a couple points. So you got to think about it this way, though. Some people buy the house. Some people own the house that they're going to live in until they pass away. Right? So, for example, let's say an 80-year-old lived for 20 years. At 100, they pass away. Now, if they have kids who want to keep the house, those kids would have to refinance into their name, and then they'd have to pay back whatever's owed.
Oh, so they still owe whatever's owed from that.
It becomes a lien on the house.
Yes, because it's a mortgage at the end of the day, right? It is a mortgage. It's a first mortage. Yeah. Good terminology right there.
Do you want to get back into real estate?
This is a start.
Studying.
Got it.
And lean back into real estate.
There you go.
Yeah. So if you are, let's say, the heir of the property, it's non-recourse, so technically you don't owe it. So technically speaking, you can leave the house be. The bank will take the house, they'll foreclose on it, they'll sell it, they'll get back their money. If there's still equity on the property, at which case I would probably recommend, you should probably try and keep it or sell it, right? Because then what you do is, it's like a regular mortgage. You would just pay back whatever's owed and you keep the proceeds if you sell the property. Right. If you want to keep the property, you have to refinance back into your name. You pay off whatever's owed, and then you start paying off the mortgage as a regular mortgage over 30 years, 25, 20, 15 years, whatever you decide.
Right.
But at some point, somebody does have to pay it back. Now, with some people, let's say people who don't have kids, they don't have anybody to give the house down to, what's going to happen? The same thing that would happen even if you owed the house without a reverse mortgage, right?
Yeah.
Since you're since you're dead, straight up, since you're passed away, the bank's going to take the house anyways, because you're not paying the taxes or insurance.
I see.
So the same way with the reverse mortgage, if you get one, you're not going to pay back when you pass away, obviously. So the bank's going to take the house anyways.
Interesting.
So back when it first started, it got a bad rep because I think it's like any program. There's a lot of issues with the programs. There's a lot of things that they didn't anticipate. You know, unintended consequences happen all the time. So that happened to a lot of people who ended up in bad situations. I think now the product is a lot cleaner, but because of so many years of a bad reputation, it's hard to get people to not think that way. But I think the reverse mortgage is a great tool. I mean, even for somebody who's retired and in a good financial position, you can get a lot of money out of your house. You can retire without having to make those mortgage payments. And if you have kids that are, let's say, in a good financial position, you know, if they're okay with you living comfortably with no mortgage payment and they can take care of it later, then why not? You know, why not let your parents?
So that money you get ready to use, like that's on the side for you to get. So you use that as a down payment for a house, or like.
Well, I mean, if they want to take the reverse mortgage and then buy a second home, you're saying?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, they can do things like that. Yeah, you
there's
can.
no interest rate applied to that, like
there's always going to be interest.
Applied to that.
Yeah, because
money you're taking out and using.
Exactly, because it's like a cash out refinance, right? Like, let's say you own the house, you know, and again, same thing. The house is worth $100,000. You do a cash out refinance of $50,000, even though that's technically your money that's in the house. You're technically borrowing the money from the house. So you're still going to end up paying it back.
And that makes sense.
Yeah.
So now I have a question. What qualifies a person to be able to qualify for a reverse mortgage? Do they need to fully own the property? Do they need to be of a certain age?
Yeah. So if you are 62, okay, so you're 62, right? And you own the house with your spouse. And your spouse is also 62 or older, then you both can qualify for the reverse mortgage. If on title, let's say you have your son, you have somebody else on the property, right? You would have to get them off of title. So they would have to agree at closing to get taken off of title so that you're the only owner of the house. Because again, the mortgage applies only to the person who's of age. So there, so there's a lot.
You have to own it for a certain amount of time, the house, or it doesn't matter how long you own the house.
No,
it's just the age.
No.
Just
you can even buy a house with a reverse mortgage.
Right.
So let's say.
Oh, I see. Okay.
So people who want to downsize, right? I know we're really going into it.
Way
down the rabbit hole. What you do anymore?
Not anymore. And I still look. I still, as you can tell, I still have the knowledge of it because I did it for so long. So like I enjoyed it. I mean, I became good friends with some really nice older people. You know, it's older people are really sweet. So sometimes, no, they're usually sweet. But you know, think about somebody. A lot of people are talking about how they want to downsize. You know, people here in Long Island eventually they move to Florida. So let's say you have a house that's worth $700,000, and you sell that house, and now you move down to Florida. So you want to buy let's say you want to buy another $700,000 house, because $700,000 there is going to give you a bigger house than what you can get here, right? You can use all of those $700,000 and you can buy that house all cash. Now, where's all your money? You know what I'm saying? About 1031, I don't want to go into those. I don't know enough about that. But you know, again, you buy a house at $700,000 because you just sold and made $700,000. Do you really want to spend all of your money into the house? No, right? No. Because it's like now you're house rich, but you're cash poor. So with a reverse mortgage, let's say you qualify for 50% of the value of the property. So instead of buying the house at $700,000, you're still buying it at $700,000, but you're taking a reverse mortgage for $350,000. So $350,000 equals the value of the property. Now you have $350,000 in your pocket, which is money that you're going to use, I'm assuming, towards retirement.
Renovations paid right away. So it's not like you have a mortgage payment now.
Exactly. And you're not locking yourself into a 30-year mortgage.
And now you have
no, it's good to have the extra money because you want to do like renovations.
I mean, anything. And you know, maybe you have money you want to give to your kids. You know, maybe your kids are about to get married. You want to give them the money. Like, why tie all the money into your house when you can use that for, you know, other things in life?
Invest with that money too, if you want to put like the stocks and stuff. Even though there's interest on it.
There's certain rules. There's certain rules about what you can and can't do about the money. But you know, you can use it. You can definitely use it for other other options.
A lot of options, guys.
So you asked me how my day was going?
It's going amazing.
Well, I mean, you said,
we're here, you know.
what are you doing nowadays?
Keep going. Sorry.
Podcasting.
Yeah. No, it's just,
we got like another 7 minutes. I was gonna try and do a clean
You
podcasting,
can close the
chilling.
window if it's getting chilly.
Nah,
Okay.
my legs are just sore.
Okay.
Nice.
Okay.
All right.
Nowadays, so basically, to go tie it all together, right? I did reverse mortgages. After a while, I wanted to get into the purchase side of the business.
Right.
I think the company that I was at couldn't provide me enough support that I wanted to get into the purchase business because it's a whole different animal, different kind of marketing you have to do, different kind of products.
Yeah.
I don't feel like I knew enough, so I had a couple of deals that I was trying to work on and just didn't. They failed.
Really?
And partially miserably. But I found a great company and I found great people to work with who are going to give me that support, going to help me with learning those products, and we're going to basically hold my hand because I was going into this not knowing really how the whole process works, and now honestly I feel like I've learned more in these. I've worked there since August, September. I feel like I've learned like 2 years worth of information being over there.
I would have never guessed. I would have thought you've been working there for like 20 years.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Well, 20 years ago I would have been 7. So
Yeah. Never know.
Yeah.
Starting out as a kid, baby.
Yeah, sometimes you have parents in real estate, but yeah, honestly, I'm like super grateful for like the team that I'm working with because they've just like really helped me. Anytime I need help with something, I don't know an answer to something, they can give me the answer, and then I can help communicate that to other people and get people to want to work with me as well.
Yeah, having that support makes a big difference.
I think so.
100%.
Having the right team is gonna literally make or break
Yeah.
career.
Yeah, we can all
Honestly.
speak to that because we're all like in teams, you know.
Yeah.
You know,
Takes a village.
Yeah.
It takes a village.
Yeah.
Even in a band, man. Like, you know, we're together as a group.
Yeah,
We always
exactly.
gotta
You
think
can't have
together,
that one bad apple. Everyone has to be on the same page.
Yeah, for sure.
We're all soldiers.
We all know that.
Soldiers in the bidding wars.
Yeah, we gotta get in battle. Arm up, guys.
It's true.
I got the ammunition.
I can see you getting a little aggressive, like just calling the other.
Yeah, I got my
buyers,
boxing.
like,
I just keep boxing gloves.
What's going on?
No, I used to keep my boxing gloves in the car, you know, in my truck in the back, and I get ready to use them. So
Fight it out.
We fight it out, yeah.
Why not?
Just waiting for someone who also has boxing gloves in another car.
Yeah, I think I might actually.
Let's go. Let's go rough around.
yeah,
That would be great. Real estate boxing matches. There is an event that's like that.
a little better MMA maybe. Get a little bit more stuff.
That would be more
Listen
fun.
up, Long Island Real Estate Boxing Championship,
Yeah, right.
2024. Let's go.
Yeah.
I'm down. Honestly.
That's funny.
Well, look, a lot of people are moving out of New York. I don't know if you heard that. You know, a lot of people like they can't handle the pressure of being,
man.
paying,
Yeah.
to the interest and stuff like that.
Damn
So,
pricey.
and then it's very competitive to buy a house here. So, like, what are ways that people could still make their way, get their, advantage to just get in the Long Island market, and what are the reasons why people would want to stay here? Maybe talk about Long Island a bit.
Yeah, I was gonna say, just for musicians' sake, if you want to get like good venues, opportunities, you got Paramount. There's a lot of nice venues here in Long Island and in New York City that would definitely make you want to stay. It's just a matter of how can you make the finances make sense for you to stay here in New York. That's one of the things that obviously we would talk about more in a consultation. Each person has their own case by case scenario, so we can't just tell you one thing will fix everything, right? So it's like we were talking about before. Income plays a role, but we also get creative with other avenues as far as getting another job. Maybe finding different ways in music to make money, right? Streaming, having your own music courses, making an album. Something we're working on. So there's a lot of different opportunities. Streaming. There's so many. And guys, listen, to real estate, if you ever want to relocate, I know we're talking about this topic, not that I want you guys to leave. I do have a relocation network in EXP, so we know agents all around the United States, so we could always hook you up.
Hell yeah.
And I'm licensed in almost all 50 states, barring 5 states. Don't ask me which ones.
Hawaii.
But I can work in almost every state. Literally, Hawaii, Alaska, Vermont, I think it's Mississippi. And there's one more on there.
It's not Jersey, right? You're not Jersey?
What?
Jersey now, right?
No, I am licensed in Jersey.
Oh, you are in Jersey?
Yeah. I can do,
maybe that's
like I said, almost every state. Almost every state. So just assume I can do every state. And if you ask me about the state that I'm not licensed in, I'll just say no.
There you go.
There you go. That's a great philosophy.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's a lot of good points about Long Islanders. love living here because the schools are great.
Right.
You know, the community is great. Everything, the convenience. We got malls. We got you know, venues for music. You know, people to go out, nightlife. You know, we're just a stone's throw away from New York City, so there is a lot to offer here. Wouldn't you say?
100%. Yeah.
What keeps you here?
It's the want to make enough money to be able to live here.
That's the drive to live here. Make more money.
No, straight up. It's fast-paced. It's fun.
Yeah, I just feel like with New York, there's just so much opportunities that you just won't get anywhere else. Especially like in the city, right? There's so many, you know, well-known companies and whatnot. And in New York, there's, especially in real estate, there's always going to be transactions. So, you know, like, we just got to keep moving, and we just got to make more money.
Without a doubt. Yeah.
That's just it.
Yeah. And I think, look, I'm going to say something that might go against a little bit of everything that we're talking about, right?
Please do.
There may be situations where buying a house is just not your option yet. Right? You don't pigeonhole yourself
before too.
either into saying that, like, look, I need to buy a house right away. You may have a sweet deal on rent that, like, that's going to be way less than what your mortgage payment is going to be, right? So you have to think about, like, the right balance. I mean, hey, for most people, would I recommend them to buy? Yeah, you know, especially when you're paying $3,000, $4,000 in rent, of course, right? But, you know, for some situations, hey, it may make more sense for you to rent for a while, save some money, and then buy when the time comes around.
Absolutely.
No, amen. Yeah, I agree 100%. That was another thing I was going to mention before too. But the rental market's hot too. Not to say that's not make it any easier, but he does have good points.
Rents are still affecting inflation.
You still need credit score. You still have to, you know, have the right income. And,
you do work with people who are looking to
looking to rent whole house rentals. You know, commercial rent. You're looking to lease, like, you know, an office space and all that good jazz. Yeah. Nice. So yeah, that's true too with the whole studio thing too. You know, with the mixed use properties, you want to lease versus buy. You got those options too. So.
But if you have an apartment, you can't play music that loud. So that's
true.
I mean,
can't you get like soundproof walls?
Yeah, you have to soundproof.
Get an electric drum kit. Get an electric drum kit. Put some headphones on. You know, you have to get a little creative, but. Or you could just wing, just go crazy and just take the chance.
Do it on your last day.
I wouldn't recommend it, but I'm just saying.
Do it at the end of your lease.
When your lease is about to expire.
Make your neighbors your first audience. You know?
Yeah.
Build your.
Get them to buy your first CD.
Ask them what music they like and play that music.
And only that music.
Yeah.
Play their favorite song until they're tired of it.
So we got the ListenUp Long Island Music, Comedy, and Arts Festival. And we have you guys as sponsors. We're super grateful that you believe in the vision. You want to participate in the event. So maybe talk about, like, in conclusion, what are some things that you're going to be pulling out of your sleeves for the event that people could, you know, come check out your booth and hear about?
Oh man, we have a lot of surprises for you guys when you get there. You know, we're gonna obviously the main thing is gonna be educating, right? So we're here to help you guys. At the end of the day, that's what it's all about. But, you know, we have a lot of stuff we can go over with you guys when you come to our booth. We're going to talk about pretty much a lot of stuff that we covered, but we'll go more deeply with you guys individually because, like I said, everyone has their own case-by-case scenario. So we'll all be there to tag team and, you know, go over things one by one with each and every one of you guys there. So it's gonna be a lot of fun. You know, we can't wait to see you guys there March 8th. You know.
Am I allowed to drink after booths, or is that?
Yeah.
Yeah,
we encourage everyone, you know, have the best time of your life. You know, check out the bands. There's live painters. There's artists.
What's your go-to drink?
You know, go walk around. What is your go-to drink?
Go-to as in, like, cocktail, beer, or
whatever.
Why not?
Like your go-to.
I always like a good beer.
Good
beer.
Okay.
Yeah.
They got draft beer there, right?
So they have 2 bars actually. So if you get a chance, go walk around and enjoy the experience as much as, you know. At least there's one person at the booth. You know, as a sponsor, you're more than welcome to collect people's contact information, network with them.
We all can't be at the bar, guys.
Or give your cards out at the bar.
Of course.
Someone's got to carry multiple drinks back.
We'll send one guy at a time. One guy.
You know, make it a party. You know that's.
I'm just looking to have fun, so it's gonna be great. Yeah,
have a great time. And you know, your support is so appreciated because musicians, artists, and businesses, local businesses, all need to work together to uplift the small business community, to uplift the Long Island community, because you are artists in your career, in your own way.
Mm-hmm.
You're a soccer player and you have goals that you achieve. You know, you're a swimmer, you hit, do the backstroke and all those, what do you call it, the butterfly, and all that, but you're in a race to get to the end zone.
Marathon.
It's a marathon, right? So, and
I'm a drummer with
you're
you.
a drummer, so you got
Keeping it rolling,
bang out those sales.
Yeah, banging out those sales. That's right. Keeping it rolling.
So that's what it is. That we're all artists in our art form, especially on Long Island, the greatest place to produce and be in a fast-paced environment where you can pursue your dreams if you choose to take that action. So take that action on March 8th. Come see these guys. Listen Up Long Island, the music festival, and that's a wrap. Thanks, guys.
Woo!
Thank you.
Thanks for having
Yeah.
us.
Awesome.